Welcome back in, everybody. This is Algorithm, or this is another Stormgate cast, and yes, this is going to be another one. And between these two, this is, in the red here, KR Bob. Welcome back, Bob. Good to see you. And in the blue, flying his arc ship, this is kiim11. And the submitter of these replays, so thank you, Kim, for submitting them up. And this one will be played out on the Boneyard. And we are opening with an array, pretty standard. I really like that positioning. I wonder if you have to get lucky to get a good positioning like that with the way that the Therium little nodules grow out from the source node. I wonder. Or maybe that's something that as a Celestial player you practice and you realize, I can get it into the good spot. Like maybe you don't get it every time, but you know where to aim after you've practiced a while. What's Bob up to? Bob, it looks like, opened straight for the command post into a barracks. So ecos on both sides. Not surprising from the Celestial. Maybe not surprising from the Vanguard either. Bob does have 5 or 6 workers on Therium there. And that might just because, well, he could be rallying over here. So that is a choice. And it's 2 mech bays being added, so he's probably gonna open some hedgehogs. Whereas Kim does have 1 creation chamber down. Looks like creeping with morph cores. And going into star forges. So this is what I'll call the meta in this matchup in 0.4.2. Don't tell Dale Cooper. But building vectors versus the hedgehogs to get into speedy unit versus speedy unit battles. We see KR Bob has brought his scout out, doing sneaky scout things. Somehow if you get your schnoz, just your nose, over the line, you can capture the camp. Boop boop, my camp scoots out. However, the vector comes back. It does delay the vector getting out and doing something else. It's going to take it a few seconds to recapture the camp. But it might just be waiting for another vector to show up. We do have 2 more on the way. We also have some hedgehogs on the way. And the scout is going to run away before getting picked off. Maybe saw the morph core coming. Morph core should be able to spot it in the woods. Although the morph core is on move command. Oh, there we go. And a couple delta jumps to try and zone the dog away and maybe try and catch it. But the dog does get the cabbage, which means healing back up. And we're up to 3 vectors here. Where are those hedgehogs? Here they come. They come rolling out. There's 1 servo, I imagine. That servo is going somewhere else. We'll have to keep our eye on that. Or maybe the servo was accidentally boxed in this group. Where are you going, old buddy? Starford is... Ascension Matrix looks like it just finished recall tech. More vectors popping out. Another array on the way. For Kim. And, okay, so that servo, I didn't see what you're doing. I think the servo was probably a mis... Well, the cabbage got ate, but who ate it? Maybe that hedgehog there? I don't see where our vectors are. Where are they on the map? Here they are. So not a lot of interaction between the 2 yet. The scout was out on the map doing its business to start out. And now both of them are working on their side of the map. Vision towers captured by both of them, so they both have a little bit of map control to see if the enemy is coming. But we are going to see Kim move in now. Yes. Goes to steal while looking for a 3rd base up here on the high ground. Doesn't find nothing. Again, Nice positioning in the camp. Both of them just trying to not get into... Ooh, this is dangerous. But are they... They're going to get the med tech and use the recall. Ooh, with real lucky just getting that last couple shots off. And they did capture the vision camp. So pretty good from Kim to scoot around. I think just killed the med tech, but didn't take any losses as a result. Kind of just put Bob back on his heels a bit and made him run around. Now both of them are heading over here on the right hand side, although it looks like Vectors, where are you going, Vectors? Ooh, we are both going here. Maybe some team... Oh, uses the evolution catalyst. How does it miss one? That doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right. So it really was some team creeping. You get a few, I get a few. Oh, that's where that extra array was. I didn't see it on the mini-map. It's on the island here. And the Vector's still out trying to harass. Find some hedgehogs. Ooh, get one. Going for medtech. Get it. And... Oh, one goes down. Purify there. I'm not sure what the Purify does for the Vectors. Ooh, one of them... So hedgehogs are quicker than Vectors, maybe? Did they just delta jump up? Yeah, I think so. Oh, they delta jumped back. My bad. I think one of them may have died to the Vulcan. Another base going down up here. I don't think that KR Bob has any vision of that, though. And Bob's marching around, I think, looking for those Vectors. Seeing if they're out on the map somewhere. Ooh, strike note from the high ground. Problem with that is it does draw attention to the low ground, which allows this... There was no strike note up there. None of this would have happened. At least that's my understanding. So, I don't know. What does that mean? Don't put strike notes up there? This is looking pretty good for Kim, though. Maybe it was bait. He jumps on top of the hedgehogs. Got many of them going down. Vulcan has already gone down. And all the hedgehogs now... Vectors are going to chase down the hedgehog, one hedgehog there. And goes for this nice base. Forward base of Bob. Always feels nice to have the forward base until you lose a battle, and then now all of a sudden it's harder to defend. Vulcan shows up, but these Argents, I really like the Argents. I didn't notice them yet, but Argents and Sabers have showed up to join the Vectors. And right now it's the Servos. And he didn't finish off the command post up here. Bob gonna try and heal up. This is an interesting composition to kill this base. We'll just send one Saber, two Argents, and a Vector. But I do like the comp overall. The Sabers allow for continued production out of the Starforges that were invested in early on for the Vectors. Of course, they are pretty good units in terms of damage, even if they've been nerfed a little bit from when they were the best. And Argents as part of the core. This might be Dale Cooper inspired. Or maybe Kim just recognizes that you need a little bit of tier 1 in there sometimes. 4 Vulcans. Got some Exos in here. I really like this comp too. Bob has a nice mix of units. And if you have the control that a lot of these high-level players do, you can have your units doing different things. So like your your Vulcans there. Mostly you just want them to stand in a spot and get their guns all coiled up. But that often you might want to micro them also to just get a little jump jet in and get on top of some units. But once they're set up, maybe you grab your hedgehogs or you grab your exos and you micro them a bit. And if you have that level of control, then this kind of mixed composition is really good for you. I think in general you want to mix up your compositions though. One unit plays are kind of silly. Unless you're playing like 3v3s or 4v4s. Saying, I'm going all Vulcans. You just show up with only Vulcans. You hope that someone else in your team has something to help support them. This is a cool army showing up from Kim. Also with added Kree now. Kree and Vectors for some sort of speedy, frontliney. Argents in there just to put down some extra damage and also have a little bit of a meat shield buff. And then got Sabers in the back line punching in with some DPS. Putting down the Ascension Matrix and the Guardian Nexus. That allows for boost to armor and damage. Is it? I thought it was armor just to buildings. But the Ascension Matrix, when surged, allows 20 or 25% boost to damage, I believe. Here we got some Atlas drops down. So Bob's finally added in the last little bit to this composition. Lancers as well. This is beautiful. I love seeing this kind of play where so many units are being used all at the same time. Almost all of the core units that the Vanguard has are being used here. Only a few air units are missing out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we're missing here. I mean, of course, in the design space we're missing some, but this is a real nice battle and really went well for KR Bob. Even though there was kind of a bit of a concave there for Kim. Now the Atlases will be able to pick... Ooh, they're one-shotting the strike nodes and link nodes. And there is a world where you just sit there and slowly poke away at this, but that also gives your opponent a chance to build up. So trying to make an actual push here. Tanks on the high ground. Sabers trying to get in and deal some damage. They're not sure what to focus on. Normally you want to like focus fire some Vulcans, but in this situation you'd also want to take out the tanks. There's so many targets to choose from. Where did our evac go? I was floating above. I missed it. Servo's marching away. And this position... Okay, it is actually fairly punishing now. I think all of these are blast nodes. They deal a lot of AoE damage. Here they come around the corner on top of the Sabers. Sabers do use Mass Accelerator to get out of there and dodge a couple of blasts from the Atlases. Sabers still able to put some punishment down, but it's not clear that they're going to be able to get any of those expensive units. Bob trying to find an angle to attack this position with. Or maybe deciding... I think maybe he has decided. Oh, I love it! Says you got a base up here? How about I drop it? And what can the Celestial really do against this? They don't have dropships of their own. Here come the Scythes. Luckily, Scythes do attack air and ground. But they're getting chased away, and it was, I mean, not exactly saving the base. The prisms remain, but that's it. Now the Sabers are marching out, but look at them in this parade formation. I don't like it unless you turn like this. That's one beautiful thing about it. It can turn into a concave, but I think this is, again, working out better for Bob. Gets most of the Sabers at the top. We have units pushing in from the bottom, but there's just so much left. Bob hasn't really taken a lot of losses here. He does start pushing forward on top of these Sabers. They're gonna go down. And now what does Bob do? He just try and push into this static DE and say, look, I can roll over you with an A move? Or does he march down towards the base? Either maybe. He's pulling back. Small force left behind. Just sort of like a little guard force. Call them scouts maybe. What's going on up here? Servos chilling in the woods. Basically deserters. Frightened from all the war. You just have to hide in the bushes until it's over. So Bob does have a little bit of the lead now, but it looks like the two of them have taken a lull from the battling. See a rally over here for Kim, and I think Kim lost a lot of his army in the last skirmish. And these poor sabers have to roll their way across the map. But here we come, up the ramp, into this defensive position, into the few units that are here. Atlas is in the back, taking out a lot of stuff. And Bob just kind of retreats away as any threat comes to his unit, so he takes barely any losses. And then just regroups and pushes right back up again. Kim's going to call GG at that. That was a good one.